Awath writes, "Hey crew, greetings from Birmingham, England. I watched John Schnepp's film and noticed the producer John Peters was the one who wanted Nic Cage as Superman. Did Tim Burton have a say, or do directors have no say in casting and work with who they get?"
Well, let's just start off with the guy who actually did the Death of Superman.
I noticed you spelled my name wrong in your letter about me, but anyway, it's a pet.
I do it all the time.
There's no H in there. He's got the H. I don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Oh, and John, they're talking about Schnepp. What are you talking about? There's no H in Schnepp.
Yeah, there definitely is an H, but people love to say, "Yo, Schnepp." Anyway, John Peters, as well as a lot of other producers, are the ones usually in charge of putting together the cast with the casting director. The casting director is not the director of the movie. Sometimes they'll be like, "You're writing the screenplay, you're going to direct it." The producer's like, "I'm producing this, I'm hiring the casting director, and we'll decide who's going to play the lead role. We'll put that all together." And usually the producers will select the top 3 people because of the money draws. They're like, "I need this person in charge. I need this person in the lead role so they can open box office, worldwide. You can't hire this person because they're a TV actor. No one knows who they are in Singapore or in China. We need this person. They're a proven commodity." So it's like a lot of people are like, "Why are you always getting the same actors and actresses?" It's because they open films and they've proven themselves as actors and actresses who can open films. That's what producers are doing. They're like, "Look, I need to get that money back from my company that I work for." So a lot of people usually think that it's the director. The directors definitely have a hand in it. In some cases, they don't. In most cases, it's a 50-50. I would say, but a lot of the time it's the producers put everything together, and that includes the lead actor and actress.
That's why a lot of times when you hear about these brand new movies, they're kind of being put together, like somebody writes a script, and then you hear Zac Efron's been attached to it. And like this is long before a director's ever brought on board. And then sometimes, as Schnepp was saying, it's different. Like with Marvel's case, we had James Gunn's in studio talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, and he had carte blanche to go out and cast that movie. He talked about how he wasn't going to get Chris Pratt. He said, "What, the fat guy from Parks and Rec?" And then he met with Chris and said, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll go with this guy." So it is a mix, like you were saying. It's sometimes the producers like, we know what we want for this. We've attached these big names because we weren't going to get the financing for this film unless we already had these certain actors attached to it. And then we went out and got our director and the director. And sometimes it's, let's get our director on board. And director, you're telling the story, so who do you see fitting in? It's kind of a mix of the two. But was it John Peters that first attached Nic Cage before
Did Burton want him?
And then Burton was like, "Oh yeah," and then they met, and that's usually what happens. What'll happen is a producer will be like, "Here's 5 names," and if you're privy to these lists, you'll see lists of casting decisions. They're like, "Here's the 7 people that we want you to pick from for this role. You can pick from any of these 5." So it gets sometimes it gets down to like, you have to pick one of these 2, and then you'll meet with both of those 2, and whoever mixes.
Now for the role of Hercules, you can either have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or you can have Pauly Shore. We're not going to tell you who to cast. We're just but pick from these 2.
Right. So and luckily in the case of a lot of directors like Tim Burton and Nic Cage got on really well. Obviously the film didn't get made, but most of the time you'll see those kinds of interactions work really well together, like creative forces.
Right. I'm sure, and it's a matter of stature as well too, is where Tim Burton will get that list of 5 people to look at. Where I'm curious now, because and speaking with Colin Trevorrow, with working with Spielberg, he said that he had a lot of say in this stuff. I'm wondering how much of that, because he was so brand new, as where you say like a brand new director coming into it. I wonder if they go, "Well, you're going to have Chris Pratt, you're going to have Bryce Dallas Howard." I wonder. It could be the opposite. Maybe they were so good to Trevorrow as well, because they would like his creative decision making in his other movie that he did. So I think that it's a kind of case by case basis.